Okay, so this card has lived a long life. 6 years, that's long for a video card, I think. And it was in a humid environment, a hot environment, a dusty environment, and a dirty environment. I'll explain all that today in the video, but we're gonna see if we can't bring this guy back to life. It's gonna be interesting, to be sure. Stick around, we'll be right back. I say stick around, but yeah, we'll be right back. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's a giveaway. Yeah, we'll keep that for now. Let's see, let's see, let's see, let's see. Check, check, check. Microphone, good. Yeah, we're using a little Hollyland here. What is it called? The Hollyland Mark something or other. Hollyland Lark Max. And I like it. I like it, other than walking into the bathroom, you know, that deal. But it's working pretty good. And so audio, today the video is the PTZ Optics Move 4K NDIHX 12X, which I love for studio environments like this because it's not a big camera. I mean, it doesn't have a long lens. Let's put it that way. So it's perfect for this, and I can make all the minute adjustments I need to without having to get out of my seat. So yeah, liking that. And then of course vMix Pro. We are one version out of date. This is 27.0.0.81, and I think .83 came out yesterday with 4 minor bug fixes. So if you like to stay up to date, you probably want to get it, but it may not be something that you need or use. We are streaming obviously to YouTube today at 1080p 60, 8 megabits per second using the AV1 codec from vMix, which YouTube seems to like. Okay, we'll see. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We got the show coming up here in just a few minutes, so you've got time to go get a snack before the show. And for those of you that are watching on YouTube after the fact, we started doing something a little different. Is to give at the very beginning of the live stream a little intro as to what we're going to be doing, and then we have kind of that, the warm up for about 15 minutes, and then we start the pre-show at 1:45 and the show at the top of the hour. So if you're watching after the fact, a lot of times you would just see the beginning of the music and the slide. And you kind of have to fast forward through, but so I thought we'd give you just a little hint of what it was going to be like, so you can decide if you want to watch or not. maybe it is, maybe it isn't. But this will be a unique experience, I think. So we'll see. Today we're going to talk about video cards and how to kill them, and then how to revive them. We'll see if this reviving stuff actually works. No, we're not putting it in the oven or the microwave for that matter. So yeah, there's that. And a big thanks to TC and Christine for providing the video card that we can use for this. Don't know that they're watching or ever will watch, but yeah, this is they are definitely the king and queen of the brutal environment for video cards. So yeah. And last week, if you haven't already seen it, last week's show, we introduced our new kind of value-priced budget PC, vMix live streaming PC. So if you're in a budget crunch and you need one for a smaller church or personal studio or anything like that, this might be the system for you. We talk about it in great depth last week's show, so you can find that on YouTube. If I can figure it out, I'll put a link to it here. If I can't, this will just be an empty space. So you get that. But that starts at it's priced at $19.95 and includes a 4-port HDMI capture card, which can be swapped out for SDI, and includes a vMix license. And it's a pretty powerful little machine. We've been building it for a while. For another customer, and thought, well, this is, we could put this into the flow, and maybe help some folks afford something that they couldn't otherwise afford. So yeah, or it might be for folks that need a backup, that they're really keyed into it and they need a backup to be able to do a percentage of what they do normally. This is not a replay machine. It's not an 8-camera machine. It's not anything fancy like that. It's just a good solid backup for somebody who has moderate live streaming needs. That's my word on it. So we'll see. Yeah, we had some interesting issues getting up and running today. I have been using a StarTech 4-port network card in the PC, which currently is doesn't have anything connected to it, we have been using that for a while, just kind of as a test, and had 2 cameras connected to it. So they essentially were on their own network. One was a it's a PTZ optics variable lens VLZ, something like that, variable lens zoom. So yeah, and it's connected to, get this, it's connected to a Bird Dog studio TV. The original box that they came out years ago was $900. I think I bought this one off of eBay for a couple hundred just to have one on hand. And so it's taken SDI from the PTZ optics camera and converting it to full NDI and making it available over the network. And then we also had a Bird Dog P120 that was connected to this StarTech card. And they were both set for static IP addresses. So when I switched them over to my regular switch, and I'll tell you why that I did that in just a second. When I switched them over to my regular switch, they didn't work because they were set on static addresses. So I had to put them back, and I had to put them back in the right port in the StarTech card, because each one of the ports has a different it's on a different network essentially. And so I had them backwards at first and then had them right. I could go in, I could change the IP address to static, and then I could plug them back into my regular switch. And the reason I needed to do that is because somehow vMix had gotten into its little head that the web controller should be attached to one of those other networks. And so it was giving me a 10.0.1.115 or something like that, colon 8088 as a way to control with the web controller. And so I'm using the web controller today. I'm going to be using it for some of what we're doing because I'm not going to be in front of this keyboard. So I thought, well, I'll just switch it with my phone. And it wouldn't switch, of course, because it was on this is the 10.1.40 network is not a Wi-Fi network. So my thought was if I changed everything back to the switch, then vMix would somehow get the word. And I finally had to reboot the PC in order for everything to get things going. So so that's that story. And now I've got all my cameras on the same network, and vMix is on the same network, so I can do the web controller here. Hello, Ron Wallace. Glad to have you. I have got I've got some goodies here I want to show you. We're going to figure out a time when we can get together. I am leaving town tomorrow, and I won't be back until Wednesday of next week. We won't have a show next week. And then Friday of next week, I'm going in for surgery. See, I have my little band here, my pre-admission band, to have some of my colon removed because apparently it's misbehaving. So they'd have to send it to timeout. And that's going to put me out of commission. They say 2 to 4 weeks. I'm thinking, wow, that's a long time. But I talked to somebody today that had that same surgery last Tuesday. So they're a week in a day, and they're up and moving around. So maybe I'll get going sooner than I think. The limitation apparently is what I can lift. So I can't lift much. So, Ron Wallace, I've got a box of goodies here that I think you might be interested in for your home studio that are just taking up space here. So we'll figure out a time to get together. Yep, that'll be good. That will be good, I think. We'll see. Yeah, of course it's going to be good. Of course it's going to be good. What else here? Oh, I just got back today. I haven't even unboxed them yet, but I did a trade. Somebody wanted some new PTZ Optics cameras, and they traded me some of their old Gen 2 cameras, 30X lenses, Generation 2. So it's SDI, NDI, and IP streaming. So if you are in the market for a PTZ camera, I can make you a deal on these. I'm thinking about $750 a piece. I don't know what they retail for now. I probably need to discover that. It's essentially it's the Move SE line that they've rebranded the G2 as the Move SE line, which is sort of their G3. But that also includes NDIHX, so it does have more value. And of course, it's probably a little bit more money. Anyway, we'll see. Somebody will want them or need them. Ron's in Fairhope right now. Ron's in Fairhope right now. Good. Is it raining in Fairhope right now? I guess I don't really care now that I've got these boxes off the porch. And let's see, we got a minute left. What else is cooking here? What else is cooking? What are we doing that's interesting? Somebody returned. We sold the school system laptop for portable live streaming several years ago, and they dropped it, and they broke the hinge. And they said, "Is there any way you can fix it?" Well, probably not, but send it back to me anyway, and let's see. So I've been working on it and finally figured out a way to epoxy the hinge to the cover, and it's I did that yesterday afternoon, and so maybe if we have a second in the post show, we'll have a look at it and see see if it worked. Don't even know, but it will be worth looking at to see for sure. All right, 14 seconds left. Let's get this show on the road. And again, if you have any questions, I'll be keeping an eye on the chat as we go through. So fire away with questions. Loving it. All right, let's press the pink button. Ta-da! I love it. I have a ta-da button around here somewhere. Here it is. Isn't that great? Okay, so today we are going to do, by the way, this is Streaming Idiots. I'm Tom Sinclair. I know because it says it right here. And I'm really excited about today's show. It's one of those shows that just sort of presented itself to me, shall we say. I have a good client that's purchased several systems for me that lives in Texas. And they use these systems I'm looking at something right here if you're wondering what I'm looking at. They use these systems in Texas to produce an outdoor activity that involves a lot of dirt and dust. And of course, it's Texas, so it's hot and humid. And they recently sent me back one of the PCs that I built for them in 2018 and said, hey, it's not working. Well, not that it's not working, it's that we can't see anything. So I said, well, the graphics card probably gave up the ghost. This is a 1060 3GB graphics card. So it's not super powerful, but back in the day, it was a good card. Probably still is a good card. I like the 60 series. And you can't see it, but I can see it, that this thing is just covered with dust on the inside. You can see a little bit on the fan blades there. Let's see, try to get it to focus right there. There we go. And not sure what happened to it. So we're going to take it apart today and see if we can find something simple that we can repair. We are not going to put this in the oven and try to reflow all the solder. I'll tell you that right off the bat, because I don't have an oven here. And supposedly, if you do it in an oven, then you're never supposed to cook in that oven again, if you ever try that. We're not going to reball anything. If you ever watch any of the videos online about the folks that actually do repair these cards, they will laugh at what I'm going to do because they really know what they're doing. But we're going to check for capacitors that are swollen and things like that, and kind of get an idea whether this is something that's repairable here in my studio or whether it would need to be sent off. So this is an Asus 1060. It has 5 ports, a lot of options in the 1060. It has 2 HDMI ports, which is actually kind of rare these days, 2 display ports, and a DVI port. That's how old this card is. DVI. When was the last time you said DVI about anything? So I haven't done anything to it. Haven't cleaned it. Haven't opened it up. Haven't done a thing to it. It's just here. So let's take it over to the workbench and take it apart, shall we? Let's see. I've got. Oh, and I'm going to be using. My phone, and I'm going to be using the vMix web controller to switch cameras, and to play sound effects. So let's wander over. Let's see. What do we want? We want to do this one right here. Yeah, we'll wander over to that one. Let's get that lower third out of the way. I could have had a shortcut for that. Probably do, but just didn't do anything with it. So here we go. So I'm using the Hollyland mic today. So that means that the mic is going to go with me wherever I am. And we don't have to worry about me switching from mic to mic, even though I have one hanging over the head, hanging overhead. Let's see if we've got a close-up of this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let me get a look at that shot just to make sure that's a good shot, because I can't see it from here. And that's almost a good shot. I think I need to push it up and over a little so that you can see it better. How about that? Yeah, there we go. All right. So we are going to start by taking these screws off in the back. Now, one of the screws right here is got a little cover on it, which is the warranty cover. So if you break that screw, you void the warranty. But I think this guy is pretty well out of warranty. And let's try, I've got a kind of a, let's see, a smallish screwdriver here, and then I've got another even smaller one. Let's see if that's going to get a bite. Yeah, that gets a good bite. So let's take that guy off. And this is the kind of show where you just kind of sit back with a soft drink or a hard drink or a cup of coffee or your dessert or your lunch, depending on where you are. If you're on the West Coast, you're eating lunch right now. And don't roll away. And let's get into these two. And we'll have to figure out which ones of these take the cover off. All of these so far have been spring-loaded. I'm going to kind of differentiate these four from those two, just in case. And these are the only 6 screws that are on the back of it. And again, this does void the warranty, so don't do this with your wife's gaming PC, because you'll be in big trouble, because you'll void the warranty and you may not be able to fix it. Or if, like me, you'll fix it and you might have some parts left over. Let's see, can we get that? Can we pierce that? Well, let's get a razor out and see if we can't just scrape that off, shall we? And yes, depending on your age, some of those may come in handy. Let's see here. Just really want to see where the Phillips head is more than anything. Yeah, there we go. That looks like it right there. All right. We'll keep that close by. There we go. And the non-existent warranty is now voided. Okay. So let's see what happens here. Aha. Okay, so it looks like those screws held the cover and the heat sink to the card. And so what we've got here is an aluminum heat sink with 4 screws. And on the other side, this is our GPU chip. And then we've got a lot of capacitors here, and then some dirty heat sinks here, and some more capacitors here. So let's disconnect this guy so we can deal with them individually. Does it have a clip that we can? Let's see if we can do it this way. And we'll go to a little slotted head here and see if we can just slot that guy out. Maybe with 2 fingers. Just kind of rock him back and forth. There we go. There we go. So we're going to set that guy aside. That's Texas dirt mixed with the formula that we will use in just a minute. to make a good contact between that chip and the heatsink. So let's take a close look here at everything we've got. Make sure there's a lot of dust there, or dirt, big chunk of dirt, big clod of dirt. And don't see anything that's damaged. Let's pull this heat sink off. And that is a heat transfer strip. We can replace that. And those little, I think those are called MOSFETs right there. They look okay to the naked eye, but we are going to clean them all up and repaste that. Okay, what I forgot to bring out here is some alcohol. So let me grab that out of the alcohol storage containment area. And I've also got some alcohol pads that I've used in the past, kind of for on-the-fly repair. And we might try those first. So let's break out a few of these. And I think I just got these at the big box store, or maybe even the pharmacy. And nothing fancy, it's just a little small sheet. And let's give this guy a good cleaning right off the bat. There we go, we're getting somewhere there. And I would like to get all the extra goop off the side. That looks pretty hard. Ooh, yeah. Like concrete almost. Oh, there we go. We got a piece of it off. Set that out of the way. And again there. My hope is that we can revive this card simply by cleaning it, because we're not going to be capable of doing anything else. Oh, there we go. But that by cleaning it, we will restore its thermal capacity, its capacity to resist or deal with heat, rather. I guess not really resist it, just to redirect it. And if we can do that, we might make a card that we can use, you know, just around the studio. A lot of times when I'm repairing something for somebody and we don't know specifically what the problem is, you know, you do the part swap based on the symptoms, of course. And so we'll say, if it comes in with a no display situation, it may have a bad graphics card. Well, it's always nice to have a inexpensive graphics card on hand in case the problem is deeper than a graphics card and kills the graphics card you put in. That you don't want to risk a brand new card until you know what the situation is. Okay, we'll let that dry, then we'll come back over it again. And while we're here, let's just clean off these guys. You can see the dust and dirt that goes away as we do all this. That's where the power supply from the PSU plugs in. Just kind of dabbing that around to try to get dust off of those guys. The less dust they have on them, the better they'll be able to do heat transfer. Okay, there we go. Let's try this again. And these are nice because they supposedly don't leave any lint. Haven't seen any yet, but you know, if you rub hard enough, you can make lint out of anything. Okay, and these are the little guys that were covered up by that heat transfer strip. So we'll kind of get those kind of cleaned up as best we can. And if we don't revive them to their former glory, at least they'll look better before they go into the garbage. Okay. There are several folks on YouTube that repair video cards on YouTube. And I think they do it for a living. And they just, you know, kind of have a live feed, or maybe not a live feed, but a recording of what it is they've done as they've fixed it. And they'll go in and they'll test grounds all around here and test for power and test for a certain amount of voltage. And if they find something that's not putting out the right voltage, or if there's a dead short or whatever the situation might be, they have the ability to go in and actually repair it. Let's get a clean one of those and try again. And Michael Graves says that he has a GTX 750 Ti still in service. Michael Graves, I do too. The system that I built and used in my studio for a long, long time. And then I rebuilt it, but still using that same card in a system for our church. So the 750 Ti, yes, sir, it still does the job. Still does the job. But this 1060, and it's not a Ti or a Super or anything like that, is not doing the job. So hopefully we can find a way to revive it. What we got there? We got a little piece of debris. All right. Okay. Looking better there. That's the part that we've already seen. Part of me wants to kind of rip these labels off because they're not well attached, but you know, the other part of me is like, I'd like to know what this card is in the future when I come back to it, if we can get it to work. When I come back to it and find out, I don't know what it is. I have to install it and check Device Manager to find out. Okay. Looking good there. All right, let's set that aside for a second. And let's give the heat sink our attention. And how bad is that? It's actually not that dirty. It's got a lot of dust on it. Hold on. Yeah, that did a lot of good. Okay. But it didn't hurt anything. So let's see if we can, this is something you should never do at home, but I am going to take a razor. And we'll see if I can skim some of that off without breaking anything, because we'll get it really clean here in just a second. This is thermal paste, is what they call it. And it basically, believe it or not, it makes a connection between this copper heat sink and the chip, and encourages heat to transfer faster from the chip to the copper heat sink than if the heat sink was mounted directly to the copper. Craziness, I know. Craziness. But, you know, the scientists have figured it out, and they say it works that way. All right, we've got some indentations here. Is that just stuff we can scratch off with a fingernail, or is that something that got chewed up at some point? That may be just where the chip got super hot. You can see 3 lines there, 1, 2, 3, and then a corner there of the chip where it looks like it got pretty hot at one point. Okay, I do have a can of compressed air. Let me grab that and see if there's enough left in that. to do anything. Or maybe I don't have a can of compressed air. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, we've got a brand new can of compressed air. So let's see if we can't get a little dust cleaning action out of this. And we'll kind of do it over here where we don't have anything that's dirty. Oops. I guess there's a trigger guard. There we go. Let's try again. Now what you don't want to do is take this and spin this on the fan, because it will burn out either the motor or the ball bearing. Can we take the fan off? Because it is pretty nasty, yucky on the backside. Well, let's see what we can do about it. Maybe we can clean it better from the back. Let's try that. Great sound effects, huh? Sounds just like a real fan. No, that didn't appear to make any difference whatsoever. What can we do with one of our alcohol pads, maybe? I'm just thinking, you know, any dirt we can get out of here is dirt that we don't have to deal with. So we'll get the outsides of the blades. That's the easy part. So IBC, for those of you overseas in Europe and other areas, is coming up. Let's see, today's the 4th. It's coming up, what, on the 13th? So about a week and a half in Amsterdam. That is a great show. If you've never been, this would be a good opportunity to go. Oh, yeah, look at that. Ooh, nasty. How clean? Oh, it got very clean. Okay, well, let's do that again. That's a good one. We'll do that one on all of these then. We'll keep turning our little pad so that we get a fresh corner for each fan blade. Yep. I did have the pleasure of going to IBC several years ago. vMix invited me to come with them. I mean, not with them, because of course they're in Australia, but to come over and invite and work with them in the booth at IBC. I guess I would be the Native American speaker, and then they had Martin and Tim there as the native Australian speakers, and let's see, Yannick was there as the native German speaker. And who else was there? I'm trying to remember. Not a good memory. Not a good memory. All right, let's see. Let's try just wrapping this around here. And one more time, we'll come back this way. There we go. There we go. Now maybe we can blow the rest of the dust off. All right. All right. Making progress. CRC electronics cleaner would be good, except we're not really taking anything apart electronically. I was thinking the same thing earlier, and I was like, oh, no, we're not really. Oh, boy, that is nasty. That maybe compressed air will do well with that little heat sink. Nope, didn't touch it. Well, maybe it did a little bit. We're making quite a mess here. Let's bring in the big boys. I know, it's a paper towel. It's full of lint and a bottle of denatured isopropyl alcohol. Sorry, 70% isopropyl alcohol. And we're just going to have a go at this guy. And we'll, I think we can replace this pad. So let's just cast that off too. And I've got some pads from some SSDs that are spares, so we'll see if we can't steal some of those and maybe be able to give those guys a fresh way of getting rid of heat. And I do have a kind of a test rig set up over there, and we'll pop this guy in the test rig in a little bit and see if we can't fire him up and make something happen. So let's see, can we get that in there and in there? Not really. Let's try the needle, the little straw here on that guy and see if that does anything. Yeah, that's making a little bit of difference. Not perfect, but it's going to work. Okay, good deal. All right, so let's go get a thermal pad and see if we can't, we'll see if we can find some thermal paste. That would be a good thing to have. All right, there's some thermal pad. Looking through the drawers here. Ah, there's some thermal paste. Good, right where it should be in the drawer marked thermal paste, but can't always see that stuff. Okay, thermal paste, and so let's see if we can separate this guy easily. Oh yeah, comes right off. Nobody's business. And we'll see if we can get him to come right on there. We'll have to cheat a little bit, but that's okay. We'll go there to there. And then we can cut him off there and put just a tad. I'll do it here. And the question is this Country Boy repair going to really make a difference? Okay. And then we got the edge of that guy right there. Yep. All right. All right, all right, all right. Put that in the little trash pile over here. And then this guy went on. Yeah, he went on like this. There we go. And he's the one that had the screws over here. So let's go ahead and screw him back in while we've got him ready. And see if we can get that started by hand. Nope. Gotta line up the hole, I guess. There we go. If you can see light through it, then maybe you got it set right. Well, let's just cheat and use a screwdriver. I can twist faster. Maybe help find the hole. That's it. Good job, Tom. Whoops. Hopefully this thing isn't fragile. And we'll get that one lined up. Clumsy, clumsy. Yeah, there we go. All right, so that little guy is on. And we freshened up those pads there. And then we want to get this guy on. So let's go ahead and plug in the fan first so we don't have to do that later. And that's in and plugged. And then let's see what kind of paste I've got left over here. I've got Thermal Grizzly. I've got Thermal Compound from Master Cool. And I've got Noctua thermal paste. Let's use the Noctua. Although, looks like somebody didn't. Nope. There we go. That's what we were looking for. So let's see if we can put a little of that on there. A little dab will do you, huh? When I build PCs, I found that if I put 3 lines of that stuff across, it compresses beautifully. Let's see if we can use just a little bit here to spread it out and make sure it's going to do the job for us. So we'll just use a little bit of paper towel. I just want to make sure we get to all the edges of the chip. Got way more than I need, but better too much than too little. Oh yeah, that's a ton. Nobody's saying we're being cheap with the paste. Okay, let's get that guy back together. He's going to go approximately right. Well, let's see, where do our holes go? Right there and there. So we'll get it, kind of squish it around a little bit. And then hold it together and flip it over. Let's see if we can get our holes to line up. There we go. Didn't intend it, but that's the way, that's the hole that one actually came out of. How close? Let's go diagonally across. Not that it really matters that much. And we'll try again here. This is the simplest job that you can do for a graphics card. And in fact, as we could tell from that graphics card when we did it first, you know, this is the thermal paste. You saw me pour that other stuff out and wipe it around. This kind of has the feeling of, you know, a rubber band. You know, flexible, but not that flexible. Not compared to the paste that we just poured on and moved around. So it's probably a good idea, and this is considered the source of this recommendation, but it's probably a good idea to pull your video card out and repaste it every 3 years or so. Okay, so let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws in. Our fan is plugged in. Our blade looks relatively clean. So yeah, so we are in a place where we might be able to make this guy do what he's supposed to do. Well, let's go over to the test bench and see what we got. All right. So here's the test bench. The system is actually on, so we're going to have to shut it down. Is it booted up? Looks like it probably is. Yeah. All right, so let's get rid of all that stuff. Looks like we did a Windows update that we didn't necessarily finish. We just want to shut down. We're not worried about updating right now. So this is a Asus H87M Pro. So this is about a 10 or 12-year-old motherboard. I use this when I'm testing things that if they blow up, I don't really care that much about this guy. Let's shut off the power. We'll wait for the little green light to go out. And then we can pop this guy in there and see what happens. We will unplug the HDMI here, and we can plug it into our new card while we wait for that green light to go out. There it is. It's out. So let's plug that guy in. And it does take 6 pins of power. So let's find the power thingy-bobby. There we go. We're always testing all sorts of stuff, so we keep all the power leads on hand for whatever we might need. And we'll plug 6 pins of power in there. Got that connected, and then I know we can just take the pin right here and jump those 2 pins. And now the moment of truth. We're watching this little light here. Oh, look at that. All right. So we got a BIOS. Let's see what happens if we press F1. We go into BIOS. F10. Save changes and reset. We didn't save any changes, but that's okay. Let's see if we'll boot to Windows. There's BIOS screen. Another BIOS screen. Another BIOS screen, and looks like we're going to go to Windows. Hot diggity dog. Oh, y'all can't see it. Get that out of the way so you can see. It doesn't matter, because here we go to Windows. Getting Windows ready. Working on updates. All those updates that I didn't want to do. Restarting. So it looks like we are able to bring this little guy back to life. How about that? Now, I don't know how well it would function in the hot, humid, dusty, and dirty environment that it came from, how much longer it would last into the future. So it's probably just as well we replaced it. But we've got one here, that, at least I think. Hold on. Are we getting there? Getting there? Well, the card worked. It's just a matter of whether the PC will boot to Windows now. That's the question. We know the card worked. We'd like to see it produce Windows. Our little light down here. Well, yeah, I guess you can see it. It's white, so it means that the card and the monitor are communicating. When it turns yellow, it means that the monitor has lost connection to the card. So maybe we're doing some updates or something like that. All right, we'll let that go for a minute and kind of see how it does. And in the meantime, we'll go back here and we can keep an eye on that guy and see how he does. I'm surprised. I was not expecting this. Now, it may be that once the card gets used for a little while and heats up, you know, kind of back to operating temperature, that it has some issues. So we'll see. We'll keep that in mind right now. Let's see. Take a look back there and see if we can see. Yeah, we haven't come back to life yet. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep an eye on that. Tell you what, while we do that, let's go to the post show and we can chat about some of this stuff and see, and we'll keep an eye on that guy in the background. Well, you can see the monitor right there. So there, when it pops to Windows, we'll know, assuming that it does. So we'll close out the show and we'll be right back with the post show. All right. All right. So yeah, don't break it for sure. Well, in this case, I mean, Joni, the worst case scenario is I drop it and break it and we break a card that wasn't working, right? So why not be bold when boldness doesn't really hurt anything? Yeah, it looks like it's still buzzing and whirring. The fan is still going on the card. Let's see if it feels warm to the touch. Not warm to the touch. Oh, let's try the heat sink. So not warm to the touch can either mean that our job in cleaning all that worked really well, or it may be that chip is fried and not running, so it's not putting out any heat at all. So you just never know. Just never know. So let's see, what else we got here? Oh, we've got Michael Graves' comment about the GTX 750 Ti. Oh, and Mike Grab says he's got one too. There you go. There you go. There's Al Bunt. Talked to Al earlier today. Al just got a system from us. In fact, Al is one of the original followers, viewers, and one of the first guests on this show like 12 years ago. So we're going to get Al on in a couple of weeks to show off this new system and to talk about the kinds of things he's done. So it's pretty cool. Al is, you know, don't think that Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin is the edge of the earth, because Al is doing some really, really amazing stuff up there. So Randy says that I should have used CRC electronic cleaner. What I probably have on hand, Randy, but not here, of course, is CRC brake cleaner, which may or may not be doing the same kinds of things. So yeah, there we go. Let's see what we got back here. Still nothing, but we're whirring around like we're doing something. You know, I hate to turn anything off. Let's see. Let's turn this light off for just a second. And yeah, we're not doing anything on the screen. Let's just shift to a different port. And we'll go to the DVI port and see if that makes a difference. Okay, monitor says, hey, you unplugged something, plug it back in. So let's plug into DVI. And energy saving mode. It went into energy saving mode. Aha. Okay. Let's go back to HDMI then. And we can try DVI too. HDMI. And the white lights come back on for the moment. And we saw the screen go, flash just a little bit. So it's trying to do something. Let's see if we've got a DisplayPort adapter here. Let's try that one. And we'll try one of the two DisplayPort ports. Okay, DisplayPort port. It doesn't recognize that we plugged anything in. Let's try another one. Still nothing there. All right, let's go back to HDMI. That's the one that seemed to be the most promising. And maybe that's the issue, is that we have a card that's partially broken. So back into the HDMI port. The light came back on again. The screen has got a little bit of backlight to it, so we'll just leave that and see if we were at all successful. We saw it work earlier. We saw it come on, and don't know if Windows is doing some sort of updates that might keep us from seeing what's going on. So, a great experiment, but maybe not a perfect experiment, maybe not a successful one. I mean, it's successful in the sense that we found out some things, because that's why you do experiments, is to get more information, get more knowledge. But we may not have achieved the result that we were striving for. I will put some notes in the show notes on this if it revives and comes back. And it's been going for about, I guess, about 10 minutes now like this. So I'll let you know what it does. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not going to be here next week because I'll be on the road. And then Friday of next week, I'm having surgery. Had a pre-admission thing today. And it could have me out for a week or two. We'll just have to wait and see. But I will keep you guys in the loop, and appreciate your prayers. And we will see you when we see you, or something really dramatic like that. Thanks for watching.